Hi, everybody. This is my dear colleague Andrea Henning and myself, Franciska Dekker. We are both managing partners with Tiara International and a global company invested in women's leadership development. And we like to have these short talks about a topic that is right in our face. And the topic for today that's right in our face is about the question, how are you? This is a question that's often posed, and there are different cultural aspects to that. But it's sort of the question lives its own life. So, what to do with the question, Andrea? What would you like to say about the question?
Yeah, what to do with the question? Yeah, first of all, it was very funny. Years and years ago, my first visits to the United States, I got the question, like, "How are you?" And I seriously thought I had to give an answer to that, because in Germany and also in the Netherlands, the question "How are you?" is taken a little bit more seriously. So it's not just a like, "Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?" and then we go to the real thing. So that was quite funny when I discovered that that this indeed a cultural difference there. But nevertheless, also here when we ask the question, or we get the question, what do you say? What's the real answer there? So we are often inclined to say, "Yeah, all is fine," and most of the time, I mean, it's a mixed thing. It's not that all is fine. There's a lot more going on. But where do you start? Is the other waiting for the real answer? I mean, it is. I found it more and more a mission impossible to answer that question. Just like.
Yes, exactly. Especially when you get to think about it, it becomes more and more impossible.
Yeah.
And my experience is that I always find it difficult to get the question, because when someone asks me, how am I need to go fact finding. There is something in me that needs to go, okay, I need to look everywhere in all the archives that I have, what's going on before I can even answer. So I feel what then I do is I go inward with my attention, and I may disconnect a little from the other person. It feels like an assignment, like I'm sent out on a mission, like I need to answer this. And at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, what's the situation? Who is asking? What is expected? Where do I have the information? So it here. And that I realize is a pattern, but it's also a pattern that repeats itself.
Mhm.
So that since we came upon the topic, now we are pausing to reflect, like, here is a moment to be able to start something different, to start a different pattern. So even if it's maybe a question or a subject where you might say, "So what?" You just say it's fine and you go on. It's actually worth pausing and thinking about. Yeah.
Mhm.
How is that for you when you receive the question, Andrea?
It
How are
is.
you? And what happens with you?
What happens with
What do you think? What do you feel? What do you do?
Yeah, what happens with me is that I immediately can open my mouth and say something,
Yeah,
but
it's
while
different.
talking, I am feeling into the right answer. So when I'm not careful, it becomes a lengthy thing, just like that, and that is also not fulfilling there.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I borrowed some intelligence. Yeah, how could you approach it? We have a good friend, Eileen Bergelson, who was also going through one, I would say, challenging thing after the other. So asking her the question, "How are you?" like, and she answered like, "I'm living it," and I love that. So for quite some time, I adopted that. Yeah, I'm living it, whatever
Yeah.
it might be. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what then happens is, like, where does the conversation then go from there? Does there come another question? "Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean with that?" Or nothing. Huh? So again, then something can be disappointing, or kind of not completely fulfilling there
Yes.
in
Yeah.
going a certain way.
I like that you mentioned that what happens is not fulfilling, because the not fulfilling part gives us like a doorway or a moment to say, okay, what would be fulfilling?
Mm-hmm.
So when receiving an answer, I'm living it, then again, there is this moment to think about, oh, okay, what would be fulfilling now? And likewise, I've been thinking for me when what I just explained, what's happening, what starts in my mind, what I feel, what I do, which is not fulfilling, and I can go on and repeat the not fulfilling part, but I don't want it anymore. So I want to feel at least more neutral. And why is that important? Because I just want to feel free. I don't want to get assigned something. I want to feel free. So I was thinking, what can I do that makes me feel better? And part of that is have some responses ready in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot is going good and I have some challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Or saying like, thank you for the question. What exactly do you want to know? Or would you be curious about? Like putting it back. And that is a fulfilling response. And then I sort of get to like the question, how are you?
Yeah, exactly. That's great. That's great to mention it. For me, it's then when I get the question and I say, "Oh, that's too big a question for me." Like to put some humor in it, because then you have something to talk about or not. But indeed, it's like, what would be fulfilling? What would be a fulfilling response to that question? And that might be different for each and every one of us. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. So it's all about the fulfillment, and that's a beautiful wrap up of our brief conversation. And of course, the partner or the person we're speaking to has his or her own responsibility for their fulfillment. We're happy to help on that, but that goes beyond the conversation now. As goes the question, like, do we pose the question to others? We're not going to go into that, but of course, we received the question, but we also asked that question. Maybe another time. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we came up with this whole conversation because we have with Tiara, with one of our membership levels, we have this coffee corners of half an hour where I actually realized, like, the question, when the question says, how are you? We are actually wanting to have an answer. So I thought, wow, this is amazing that we built an environment where we actually want to have an answer to the question when we ask that question. So that was also, a fulfilling thought.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Andrea. Well, till next, everybody. And please share below. What do you do? What do you do with the question? How are you? Or do you have any tips? That would be great to hear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.